QR code menu or a printed menu at a restaurant?
Printed, 100%,
Yes,
100%.
100%.
And let me
Like
tell
this,
you, it's you eat with your eyes. I want to see a beautiful menu. I want to see pictures, at least of some of the food. I would rather go to a place that has taken the time to pay a company to have a proper menu. I want to flip, I want to look, I want to feel it. Absolutely, every time.
hey, everybody, welcome to the Open Tabs podcast. My name is Joe,
I'm Billy.
and we are excited to have you here at episode 24.
24.
I know, 24. We've been doing this for 24 weeks, Billy. That's pretty crazy.
I feel like we're beating the odds of all the other short timers that quit after 22.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, Today we're going to talk about something, folks, that just really struck our fancy. I am a firm believer that technology is supposed to make everybody's life better, easier, more convenient. But honestly, it's starting to feel a little like everything you try to do requires a download, an account creation, a verification code, 6 factors, blood type, DNA, fingerprints.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
getting out of hand, man. Like, I just want to pay $1.50 to park my car. Why do I need a convenience fee? Because you have to now take it on a PayPal or on an Apple Pay. Like, just put the meter back and let me stick my quarter in.
Exactly.
It's getting out of hand, man.
Yeah, it
Now,
used to be once upon a time there used to be parking meters, right? And you had to have a quarter.
yeah.
And then, like one of the common theft tactics was to go at night and knock those things over and steal the quarters. What happened to those days?
And now you've got to scan a QR code. I'm like on QR code fatigue at this point.
Yes, that's a thing.
So there are obviously things that that technology has improved. We are tech guys. We know that. There's also some things that maybe we didn't realize technology was quietly making worse in the background. So we're going to talk about those today. We're also going to try and figure out what we think we could no longer live with. We'd love to hear feedback from you guys. What could you no longer live with? And then we're gonna do a little rapid fire at the end to find some of those toxic technology habits that we secretly love and indulge in way too often. Um, so to get us started, let's talk a little bit about what's great about technology. What are some things, Billy, do you think have really improved since technology? So in the last, say, 5 or 10 years with the technology boom.
This is kind of broad, okay? But one thing that comes to mind, and I've noticed this when I've traveled to other countries that haven't kind of come up to speed. This is broad, but just in general, being able to sign up, update, cancel, etc. online. I don't want to call and wait to talk to somebody to create an account, to modify an account, to cancel something. I don't want to call somebody in order to schedule something, to reserve something. And that's broad, but that could go to anything. Once upon a time, you used to have to call to book a plane ticket, right? Used to have to call to do any of those things. Or even worse, you had to mail something, right? If you were ordering something out of a catalog. So I know that's broad, but number one that comes to mind, because I don't want to physically stand in a line somewhere and I don't want to actually wait on hold on the phone. If there's a way for me to do it myself online 24 hours a day, I can do it myself. That's probably the number one thing.
I will tell you, I have been calling customer service recently, different customer services for different reasons. And there's a feature that a lot of companies have implemented now, which is it's like a callback feature where it says, hey, you don't have to wait on hold. We'll just call you back, when your next place in line is. That to me is like anybody who doesn't have that today should definitely get going on that. That's amazing. But I agree. I think there's a lot of things that you can do now online. I just canceled like 3 subscriptions this week online. But also there's the kind of the challenging aspect of that is everything's a subscription, right? So, You sign up
Mhm.
for something, it bills you, and you because you forgot to cancel it when you were supposed to or whatever. So there's definitely some negatives to that, but I do agree. Like when you think about like I ordered a replacement driver's license through an app on my phone. I verified my ID, ordered a replacement driver's license, and downloaded a temporary in an app on my phone, all in a matter of about 20 minutes.
Mm.
And that, I mean, imagine how difficult it was just to get a replacement lost driver's license replaced, even 5 years ago, and maybe
Oh, yeah.
even still in some areas. So I agree. I think being able to do certain things online that you could never do before, really awesome. Uh, I'd have to say, for me specifically, with the like advancement in I think that technology really does save you time when you've got too much going on and you need to get something done and you can do it, but you just don't have time. uh, I think the beauty of being able to prompt an AI and say, "Hey, write this letter for me because I just don't have time to write it. Make it in my voice." I mean, that's a really, really useful tool, and I get that that can kind of go sideways just like anything else,
Mhm.
but um, but I do think having AI, the ability to kind of shorten your task load or lessen your task load by offloading some of those simple things or collaborating with AI on some of those things, that really has uh, that has been better. Okay, uh, here's a good question. Do you think certain technologies create more problems than they solve?
Of course, of course. So, and sometimes, to be fair, we don't know what those new problems might be, right? And
Yeah.
it's kind of the same idea with psych meds. A psych med might address a main issue, but then you might have 3 spin-off side effects. And before you know it, you have 10 medicines that are all treating down the line something that the last one created. And so part of that is just, you're gonna have to try it out and see. But yeah, there's absolutely, just the smartphone in general, right? It solves so many problems, but it created. I mean, this is for another day, but there are mental health diagnoses that are recognized in the DHM, whatever it's called, 5
DSM.
manual.
Hmm.
DS, thank you, the DSM-5, that didn't exist before smartphones, related to mental health conditions around social media that have been exacerbated by the smartphone. So whether somebody believes that's real or not, to some degree, it is a problem that was created by something designed to fill a gap and solve a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, I I always get taken back by this one when I go through my budget and I'm looking at how many streaming services I'm subscribed to. I
Hmm.
think if I were to add all of those up, I would probably be almost even with what it cost me to have traditional cable 5 years ago when I cut the cord.
Right,
Now
right.
now 5 years ago when I cut the cord, I didn't have so many options and I just had, 4 or 5 streaming services and that's how we watch TV. But honestly, between what I pay for and the streaming services and the movies I rent and all that, like, dude, that number has got to be it doesn't have to be. It is as much, if not maybe even sometimes some months a little more than what it cost me just to have cable before. And
Yeah,
there's
and the sneaky thing is you don't have that single number in mind. You have a number of a subscription, you're like, "It's $10.
yes,
It's
yeah,
$12." And then before you know it, or you don't know it, and then because they hit at different times, they're all
yeah.
separate, and you don't realize how much you're spending on watching TV. Yeah, yeah, we gotta get a handle on that as a people, as a society.
Well, and now there are boxes, I guess, that you can buy that basically crack the code for that and you pay one time and you have access to all this stuff who knows how. um Not that we're not recommending that, folks, because I'm guessing that breaks all kinds of piracy laws and legality issues come from that. But yeah, I would say cutting the cord now seems like it's not as good a solution as maybe just having cable again.
Mhm.
I'm starting to wonder if a cable and a really good DVR wouldn't be a cheaper option than having Paramount Plus and
Mhm.
Peacock and HBO and Netflix and Disney and all. Like, I'm starting to wonder, like, could I live with Disney Plus and then just set up my DVR like I used to so I can watch when I'm ready, you know?
Do you guys watch a lot of TV at your house?
We watch a lot of things, but we watch them all on streaming platforms.
Mhm.
And now, like, I tried to cut some corners, like, oh, with T-Mobile, I get Peacock for free, so I'm going to do that. Well, now I got to have ads for Peacock, and
Oh,
that bugs me. When I could, if I had TV, just go on to NBC, set up the recordings, and fast forward through the ads on the DVR.
right.
So there's like that whole, mindset that it's like, oh, would it be cheaper just to cancel everything now and go back to cable and get a really good, YouTube TV with like a terabyte DVR and then
Yeah.
just set everything up to record as needed? It
And,
might be.
YouTube TV, not to this is not sponsored, call us if you want to. YouTube TV has their, whatever the equivalent of DVR in the cloud is, and it's unlimited. So, for YouTube TV, you can click as many shows, as many movies as you want, and it will record it to the cloud forever unlimited. So that's nice. And then
Yeah.
you can fast forward through the commercials, but I don't even bother with that. I have YouTube TV, I have YouTube Premium. I don't bother with any of it. I just do YouTube itself, and that is for my needs, that's more than enough. YouTube itself has a section of free movies, which rivals any other platform, and I'm happy with that. And then I have Amazon Prime as well. That's it. I'm good. I'm good. But then if something specific comes out, like recently I saw the movie Obsession in the movie
Hmm.
theaters, and I need to watch it multiple times, at least a second time, to like get my head wrapped around it. And it's streaming on Peacock, and I'm like, okay, is it worth it for me to subscribe to Peacock for a month to watch this one more time, or should I buy it and own it on Amazon, or not buy? So, first world problems.
I know, but I think streaming television has solved some really cool problems, and then they've made some really difficult ones. And here's another one that's killing sports fans right now. Uh, I've heard this. I don't know as much about it because I don't watch baseball, but the Major League Baseball basically pulled most of its contracts for TV.
Mm,
And if you want to watch baseball now, you pay the MLB directly,
really?
how
Okay.
$200 a year or whatever it is to watch the whole season, and that you get all the games, you get as much as you want. It's lifetime recorded, archived, whatever. But you can't just go flip on Thursday night TV and watch a baseball game now because they may not be
Wow.
on the regular television channels anymore.
I
So,
wonder if that drives people more to watching in restaurants and bars, or if, back in the day, pay-per-view, like for a big boxing
mhm.
match, pay-per-view is a thing, and it would be like, I don't know, $50 for one big fight. And like whoever in the neighborhood had the biggest TV would pay for it, and everybody would go to their house and watch the game on pay-per-view. It's almost feels in some ways like we're going back to those older days, and it's all about money, of course, for the stations, and they've got to get paid one way or the other. But just funny how things meander sometimes back to the original.
Okay, so there's also, I would say, for as many improvements as have been made, and maybe we're getting a little bit into the next segment here. What's one technological advancement that has uh, created more work than it's actually solving for? What's your biggest one?
Gosh, the one that comes to mind is all of the apps for restaurants and fast food places, all the
Mm,
loyalty programs. Uh, I get it, and I used to actually work at a company that like designed those and so forth for fast food. So I'm not putting them down. But let's just take an example. If I want to go to McDonald's, once upon a time, I just go to the drive-through and I'd have some money and I'd order something and I'd pay for it. And now, I mean, yes, I can still do that, but I might be missing out on some deal. And so I go to the parking lot, I pull over, I have to find the app. If I haven't used it in a while, I have to figure out how to log back in and then find where I'm at, and all this stuff. And then it might turn out that, oh, I could have just gone to the window anyways. Oh, it ends up being more of a hassle. And there have been times where I'm in the middle of that process and I'm like, crap, I got to reset my password. I haven't been to Burger King in 6 months. And I end up giving up and driving away because I'm frustrated. So the loyalty app ends up making me frustrated enough to not give them my business when I'm already physically in the parking lot. There's one, Shake Shack, when they opened their first location in Atlanta some years ago now. They actually took over an old Burger King, so it looks, just like a fast food place. Shake Shack. Oh, I'm gonna go try them out. I go to the drive-through, and they have a drive-through and a window, but they don't take orders. It's only a pickup lane for mobile orders. So
Yeah.
I pull up to the window and they're like, "What's your name?" And I'm trying to place an order. They're like, "You're gonna have to download the app, place an order, and then you can come back and pick it up through the pickup lane. It is not a
Mhm.
place to make an order." So those are the ones for me that end up in the end making it way more complicated than it used to be.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I would say, I think certain restaurant apps are, I guess, more advantageous than others, but the whole, like, app culture for restaurants or coffee shops or any of it is frustrating to me. Um, Chipotle is like that too. You can't just go to a drive-through and get your Chipotle. You've either gotta go
Mhm.
in or you've gotta order on the app and pick up in your car. All of them are getting kind of it's kind of overkill. And for me, I will say, like, the McDonald's one I really like because their rewards program is pretty good.
Yep.
But all the others I could live without. I don't necessarily
Yep.
need, Arby's to have an app, and I don't need to order through the Arby's app or the Wendy's app. Like, you coulda done without that, right?
Yep. And I don't know if this has happened to you. This has happened to me many times. I've placed the order. I'm like, okay, I'll be a good consumer. I'll do what you tell me. And I place the order on the app and then I come to pick it up and whatever it is, part of the order, they're like, oh, we're out of that. I'm like, okay, well, what? And if there's not a decent substitute, I'm like, well, then just give me the refund back. Oh, you're going to have to submit a request through the app. We can't do refunds or we can't change the order or you're going to have to call an 800 number or whatever. And I'm like, well, you guys sold it to me on the app and I paid for it and here I am and now I'm inconvenienced. You can't fix it, you can't change it, you can't modify it. It's on me to go fight it later because they're out of some flavor or out of some whatever and they don't have the ability or didn't take the time to go and mark it as, sold out for that location. I'm like, and then of course, and half the time it's my fault because I ordered something they're out of. Like I was supposed to know. So
Yeah. I'm gonna shift gears here. Ticketmaster. You have the Ticketmaster app because you
all the
go on
time.
go
Yep.
this frustrates me to no end because not only now, in order to go to an event, you have to have an app on your phone, but you have to have your phone because there's
Yep.
no other physical way for you to get into an event without the
Hmm.
Ticketmaster app because it does that little swooshy barcode thing
Yep.
for the scanner. And so, like, you can't print it off. You can't you can't show a screenshot. You've got to actually physically have someone scan your phone um, in the app while it's running. And to me, that's a lot more work than it's worth, man. When people just used to hand you a ticket, you'd hand them the ticket, they'd rip it and hand you the stub back, and you'd be done, right?
Yep.
None of this, like, oh, flip to that one. Oh, flip to that one. Oh, flip to that one. That to me, and I will give it to there's a movie theater chain here in Georgia called NCG,
Mm.
and you can buy your tickets online through their app wherever you want, right? But when you go there, they hand you a physical copy of a ticket that you hand to the guy at the front, and he rips and walks through. Compare that to, say, AMC, where you can scan the Atom ticket or whatever. It is it is a bottleneck if someone has to pull up the app and show their thing and get it scanned and walk through. It's a bottleneck versus, and I think, in my opinion, um, movie theaters, they don't need to change. Just keep printing the tickets. I know it's paper. Use really thin paper. I don't know what to tell you. Use magnets. I don't know, but, like, let's let's stop. I don't need to put my movie ticket from the time I buy it at the front counter to the guy. I don't need to have an app for that. Like,
Yep.
please. You know what I
And you can
mean?
still have it doesn't have to be old fashioned. You can still have a QR code on a piece of paper. You know, it doesn't have to be it's not a security issue. You can still have those unique QR codes and whatever. But yeah, it's just one of those
Okay,
things
so
that we're
what
dealing
kind of
with now
businesses have you run into that have no business having an app?
that have no business having an app.
Yeah.
Gosh, I feel like there's a lot because I'm constantly telling myself, "Wait, there's an app for that too." I don't know. I what comes to mind for you? Nothing comes to mind. I'm sure there's a
For
thousand.
me, parking, because I'm only going to use it one time, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, especially like if you go to, I can't remember if it's Myrtle Beach or if it's somewhere I went to in one of the Carolinas, but I went and parked and I had to download their city app to pay for parking.
Yeah, I
I don't
probably
live
have a
here.
bunch of
You're a
those. Yeah.
beach town. Like,
Yes.
people visit here. They shouldn't have to download an app to pay for parking. Like, just scan the QR code, pay online, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then what's worse is the apps that are basically just the website in an app container. Like, why did I
Yep.
download an app just to look at your website? I could have looked at your website on your website. I have
That's
a
the
thing
thing.
for that.
You don't have to have an app to have like an online portal. You can
Right.
still have a QR code on a sign and scan it and go to a website and one time do a thing and still if you sign up get a text message 15 minutes before it expires and extend you to all the functionality without downloading the full app for sure.
Yeah. So I think we're app heavy. I'm constantly scrolling through my phone and I'm looking for the apps that I can delete. It's just it's too much, man. I think and then I think when the apps want to send you notifications and track your location and track your spending and your
Yes.
like all of that to me is like, dude, just give me the application. Like,
Don't make the mistake of downloading Temu to your phone. You'll have
oh my
15
gosh.
notifications a day.
Oh gosh. So it's the price you pay for $6 like pants and a $12 TV
Yep.
is is so speaking of that, the thing I'll say about this, what we have been conditioned to in our culture, and I think this bugs me the most about it, is we went from a situation where um, you know, we lived in an environment where we muted our TV when the commercials came on. We got up, we
Mhm.
ran to the bathroom, we got up and got a snack. We sometimes would watch commercials. We pretty much didn't. We would find something to do during a commercial, right?
Mhm.
And then we got into the situation where we started paying $4.99, $5.99, $6.99 a month to watch things without commercials. Great. Then they were like, wait a second, this breaks our model. We need commercials
Yes.
back. So then what they tell you to do is, oh, well, it's $6.99, but that's with commercials. And then if you
Correct.
don't want commercials, now you got to pay $12.99. And it's like, wait a
And
second.
they'll find a way to work them in there. They really will.
It's like they got you addicted to the drug of no commercials, no ads. And then they started charging you for the ads, which is crazy to me. They're charging you money so that you can have ads. And then you got to pay more money so you don't have ads. And I get they're trying to offset the ad revenue. Believe me, I understand the economics of it, but it's one of those things where I start to wonder, like, was old TV better? Like,
Yeah.
was what we did before just better?
And let me tell you, it's one of these things, if you go without the commercials, it's hard to go back. Like,
Yeah.
I've had YouTube Premium for years and years, and that's like I said, that's where I watch 90% of anything, everything. And if I'm at somebody's house or whatever, and they put any YouTube channel on, any YouTube video on, and it stops for commercial, I might as well have a seizure on the spot. Like, what's happening right now? I'm so used to being able to. This is the one spot I'm going to watch my stuff. I'll pay whatever they want. Let me just watch it through because I don't even care half the time what I'm watching. So I don't want to be interrupted. Because if I am interrupted, I'm just going to switch to the next thing anyways. And somebody has commercials. I'm like, you don't have to do that. You can pay $300 a month and get no commercials. You should do it. So, oh man, it's hard. It would be
I
hard to go
will
back.
say that $17 a month is one that's probably going to stay in my budget because I I can't abide watching a 2-minute advertisement for a 3-minute video. Like, it's
Correct.
not okay. You know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
it's just not okay. So like I agree with you there. And I will guest sign into somebody's TV before I will watch ads on
Yes.
their YouTube. I'll be like, no, we're going to use my YouTube account for this, and then I'll log out when I leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
So
I watch my short form content on Facebook. I don't even have TikTok on my phone. And that's one. I don't think there is a subscription. I think they just have ads in the Facebook
yeah,
Reels. And so as I'm watching, swiping through, as soon as it stops and interrupts me with an ad, I don't care how good it is. I go to the next one. I go to the next one. I go to the next one. And then at some point, they have figured out that I'm doing that. And so as I'm swiping to the next one, it's just ad, 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 ad. As many times as you want to
yeah.
swipe, it just goes straight to a new ad. And that's when I turn it off and I go back to YouTube where I belong.
Well,
So
and it's funny because they'll really get you. What really bugs me is when the reel, like, is ending on a cliffhanger and you don't realize it and an ad rolls, and then
yes,
you
you
have
got to go
to
ahead and
go to
watch
the
it.
and then the thing is over and it starts. You're like,
And
are
then you
you
watch it for
kidding me
nothing.
right now?
Yes.
Oh, that's the worst. So sometimes I think we agree. Sometimes the old way it may be better. So we're gonna talk about this old way versus new way. I'll go ahead and do this one, and then you can do the rapid fire at the end. So, uh, old way versus new way. Which do you think is better?
Okay.
You got to choose the old one or the new way. Um, GPS or paper maps?
GPS.
Yeah, you don't have to defend that one. Okay, streaming or cable/DVDs?
Streaming. Even with all what we said, streaming.
Oh,
I want it on demand.
okay. Mobile ordering or ordering takeout at the counter?
Mobile ordering, once again. Even after all the stuff I just said.
Self checkout or cashier?
Cashier, I don't like fumbling with the self checkout, and I hate waiting, being like, I wouldn't do this. I'm just for illustration purposes, snapping and saying, "Hey, hey, hey, come over here. Something's not working." I'd rather just talk to the cashier.
I have noticed. I think Walmart has kind of backtracked all the self checkouts lately, and
That's where all their theft happens.
They've started putting more people at the lines. And dude, I'll go to a Walmart. I went to Walmart the other day, and there were like 150 cars pulling into the parking lot at one time, and I'm like, I am never getting out of here. I do my shopping. I go up front, self checkout, line out the door. 6 cashiers open for business, nobody near them. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to her, man. She's going to do
Yep,
it for me. Uh,
exactly.
so yeah, I would say I could live without self checkout. I do like it sometimes, but I could definitely live without it. I think I know your answer on this one. Dating apps or meeting someone naturally.
I got to meet him naturally. I don't do dating
There you
apps.
go. All right. Digital tickets or printed tickets?
I'm gonna if I have to pick one, I'm still gonna go digital. Yeah, I'm still gonna go digital if I have to pick one.
All
I
that
take my phone with
complaining.
me.
All that
I know.
complaining.
See, and this is all the companies out there. If they were to watch this, be like, see, that's why we do what we do because you still
Okay.
end up siding with us.
Here's one that bothers me, and maybe it doesn't bother you. QR code menu or a printed menu at a restaurant?
Printed, 100%,
Yes,
100%.
100%.
And let
Like
me tell
this
you, it's you eat with your eyes. I want to see a beautiful menu. I want to see pictures, at least of some of the food. I would rather go to a place that has taken the time to pay a company to have a proper menu. I want to flip. I want to look. I want to feel it. Absolutely, every time.
okay, last one. Smart home locks or smart home devices or ordinary switches and locks?
This one's hard. I went to 100% smart home, and now I've come full circle back. I've come full circle back. There are times when I miss it now because I have no smart devices in my house. Zero. There are times now where I'm like, man, I wish I could just say, Alexa, turn off the da 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 da. But half the time it wouldn't work, or it would be delayed, or there'd be something weird with it. Like now I'm an old school key switch. So that's what I'm going with. How about you?
Okay, well, you know what? I it's funny because I do have smart home devices, but now I'm using them less and less as smart home devices. Like,
Mhm.
I have a lock on one of my doors that I could have on Wi-Fi and unlock with Bluetooth and all that stuff. It's not worth the time. I just punch in the code and open it and leave and go in.
Right.
So the connected piece of it is not as important to me as it used to be. The only The only caveat to that is we have a lot of light timers, because we
Mhm.
have a lot of animals, and that I do prefer to be Wi-Fi connected. But
There's so
other
many things that you can connect to or have Wi-Fi, like the washer and dryer has Wi-Fi, the microwave has Wi-Fi, the
oh,
stove
it's
and oven,
crazy.
the refrigerator has Wi all these things. I'm like, "What is going on?"
So, I have so I would say the smart home devices are I'm the same way. I went that way and I've come back now. But I will also say there are specific things that I I would prefer a smart timer, lighting timer to like a regular lighting timer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so if, from that perspective, I think technically speaking, I guess those are both smart home devices. But yeah, you know what I just put in my house? This is crazy. Um, so I have young kids. We have a rule, and we might talk about this a little bit too. We have a rule that none of our children can have a phone before they're 14 years old. Now that hasn't always
Okay.
been our rule, unfortunately. But it was a rule that we set up after I read a book. Which shout out to if you're interested in how smartphones are playing and social media are playing, uh, how they're affecting children. As you had mentioned, you know there's not just now things in the DSM. There's also physical ailments happening from children using smartphones, like their necks growing like this and stuff like that. But The Anxious Generation is a book that I'd highly recommend. It talks a lot about this as we segue into this next thing, um, uh, which is the effect of technology or smartphones on individuals. I don't even know if we were going to talk about this. We're going to talk about it now. Um, but so my kids don't have phones. My younger kids don't have phones,
Mm.
and they're not going to get phones till they're 14. My older kids, we can text them, but they're not always looking at their phone. You know, they're not always paying attention. I am terrible at paying attention to my phone. It's hardly ever charged up. I can't hear it when it is. Like I'm just not a good phone communicator. And so we were running into an issue where somebody would need something and they would text one person, and if that person didn't answer, they'd text the other people to tell them to go tell me. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
maybe it'd be like I would text my wife, and then she wouldn't answer, so I'd text my daughter and be like, "Do you know where mom is?" And she'd be like, "No." I'd be like, "Well, if you see her, can you tell her I'm looking for her?" And this is all happening via text message, and it just got
Mhm.
really irritating. So I went out and got on Facebook Marketplace a set of intercoms, good old fashioned. Well, they're not that old, but they're good old fashioned. Plug into the wall, set it on a table, hang it on the wall, press and talk, and announce across the house intercoms. Now we had a smart version of this at home. We used to use Alexa, and Alexa has the announce feature and the like
Yeah.
call the room and drop in and all that. But I mean, like you said, half the time it doesn't work. You can't get it to work from a Kindle. You can't get it to work from the Alexa app. And we were just, it's too much work. And I thought, okay, I just want something where I can push a button and say, hey guys, you're making too much noise. Please quiet down.
Right.
Or turn the TV down. I can hear it through the floor. Or,
Yeah.
hey,
Bypass all that other stuff.
can you get mom's coffee for us? Right. And so I bought, handy dandy plug into the wall intercoms. They're wireless, right? But literally, I've got one in the hallway basement. I've got one in our room, and I've got one in the living room and one in our family room. And so that covers basically the whole main floor of the house, with the upper floors having an intercom between each. And right now, the kids are basically just using them to goof off. But
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, when I'm downstairs, um, getting my day started, and my wife is upstairs getting her day started, and she needs something from the kids, or I need something from the kids, we're gonna press that talk button and be like, "Hey guys, can you go blah blah blah?" Or "Hey, can you let the dogs out?" It's gonna be amazing because there's no text messages involved.
Right.
So
Sometimes less is more.
yeah, yeah. If I can push a button and say something, that is the ultimate convenience. Um, and even I don't know if you've seen them now, but they've got 4G LTE radios. that are push to talk radios, but they work on a cell phone signal. And you
Huh.
pay $100 a year or whatever, and then you can talk on them as much as you want, just like you were talking on a cell phone, but it's a push to talk thing.
Is that kinda
And
like the old what were the old cell phones
the
that went boop?
Motorola,
Yeah, that the construction
Boost had
workers
them and Sprint had them. Nextel, that's what it was.
Nextel. Yeah,
Yeah, so
I always
this is
wondered
like
about
that,
those.
but they look like little Motorola. They're not Motorola, but they look like little Motorola radios, and you can get them programmed into a group. So you can say like, I want these 4 radios to be on this group, and
Whoa,
I
okay.
want I want I want to have, let's say I want to have 15 groups, and I can do different channels, but it's like these 5 radios are programmed to work together, and they can work together anywhere in the world. But it's
Wow.
only those 5 radios that work together.
But they're kinda like walkie-talkies in a
They're
sense.
like walkie-talkies, but they work anywhere in the world. There's no distance issues.
See, that's the best of both worlds. Now this is some years ago. I was only for 3 months. I moved, like, as the crow flies, a mile or a mile and a half from my friends Sean and Melanie, where they lived. I got an apartment. I was so close to them for a short period, and I said, "Sean, we've gotta do walkie-talkies." He's like, "Why? We have cell phones." "Because it's fun," and I desperately wanted to just get, like, because they advertise up to 20 miles, which is probably a joke, but a mile and a half probably could work. I was so keen on having a walkie-talkie in my apartment and one at his house, and he never would do it. But I bought walkie-talkies recently. I didn't even have a reason for it. I bought like a 6-pack, and so I have all these I don't even have anybody to use them with. I turned one on when I opened it up from Amazon. I turned one on, and I'm like, "Why did I even buy these?" I love them so much. I feel like a little kid, and I forgot to turn it off, and there's no static. I mean, they're nicer than that, I guess. But the next morning, I woke up and I heard somebody talking, and I'm like, "Is that the new walkie-talkie?" There's only one. The others don't even have batteries in them yet. They're still in the box. And it was somebody talking about the school bus 723 is pulling up, have the kids come out. So I must be close enough to a school to pick up on. They must have bought the same
That's
walkie-talkies.
funny.
So,
How
but yeah,
funny is that?
we'll find you and me or somebody and me. We're gonna find a reason to use those walkie-talkies. But the
Oh, I've
4G
got
radio,
plenty.
that's even smarter.
Yeah. I've actually thought, like, how many friends could I get these little walkie-talkies for? And then, because here's the thing about texting and calling. I feel like still a call feels like something you have to be prepared to spend some time doing, right? A
Yes.
text is cool because you just send the text and be done, and then you get a text back and you back and forth. That's what walkie-talkies are good at. And that's what I want
Yes.
to do is I want to be able to just like bing, hey, what's up, Billy? And we can have a little quick, walkie-talkie chat and then be done, right?
I love
Uh
it.
all right. Well, okay, maybe we need to see Rapid Radios. If you want to sponsor us, we would love to try those out right here
Yes.
on the
And if not, we're gonna try them anyways.
Open Tabs podcast. But we're not going to try your brand. We're going to try the Timu brand.
Right. Oh, Lord. We're gonna have somebody in Uzbekistan going, "Hello? Hello?" 'Cause they connected it to the wrong group or something.
That'd be awesome. And terrifying. All right. So another thing that we didn't talk about this in the beginning, but I just thought I'd bring up is the effect that technology is having on our culture as a whole.
Mhm.
And I read this book called The Anxious Generation a few months ago, probably 6 months ago, right after my wife had read it. And it honestly, Billy, it terrified me
Really?
because it's changing the way that our children, the generation below us, our kids, are developing. They're developing in ways that are not healthy. They're developing with this, you know, the instances, and I'm going to butcher this. Read the book if you haven't read the book, folks. But like the instances of like um, childhood depression are direct correlation with the rise of cell phones and smartphones with young people. And one of the things they said in here that's really interesting um, is over the course of many decades, we found ways to protect children while mostly allowing adults to do what they want. Then, quite suddenly, we created a virtual world where adults could indulge in any momentary whim, but children were left nearly defenseless. As evidence mounts, the phone based childhood is making our children mentally unhealthy, socially isolated, and deeply unhappy. Are we okay with the trade off? Or will we eventually realize, as we did in the 20th century, that we sometimes need to protect children from harm, even when it's super inconvenient for adults. And it is inconvenient for your kid to not have a way to connect to them in this day and age. It used
Hmm.
to be that was just the way it was, you know? We talked about that before. You'd call your parents, collect, and be like, "I'm at the movies, bye," you know?
Yep.
But now it's a totally different experience. People are expected to be connected. Kids are expected to be connected. But honestly, uh, that access to that smartphone, I think, is changing the way that kids operate, that families operate, and not always for the better. Um,
And the solution, it's not to get rid of the technology or the smartphone. I don't know what the solution is, but we can't go backwards.
right.
So what do we do? Because it's here to stay. I think we all come to terms with that, AI included. What do we do? Like we can't, short of going and living in a, an island in the middle of the ocean that has no perception, and that's not healthy either. I don't think.
And I agree with you, and I think the issue is, um, when parents are allowing their kids to have smartphones at a younger age or devices at a younger age, oftentimes it is because, 1, they're trying to let their kids keep up with the new social norms, right? Keeping up with the Joneses, or 2, it provides a convenience for them in some way or form, right? I can now get a hold of you easier, or now you have something to entertain you when we're driving on a long road trip, or when we're in the restaurant. I don't want you to be obnoxious, so you can just look at an iPad. So that it's providing a convenience to the parent. And like this quote says, I think parents, it has to be incumbent upon us to allow ourselves to be inconvenient, to allow ourselves to tell our kid that, hey, you're going to be the outcast until you're 14 and you finally get a phone, because I'm not going to let you have one before then.
Yeah.
Um, and, and even, you know, the other piece of it is social media. Like, my daughter's 17. She does not have any social media accounts yet. And we
And
will.
I'm sure that's probably not very common
No, not at all.
amongst
All
like
of
her
her friends
peers.
who are seniors are getting, and we live in a pretty tightly knit community. So even like all of her friends who are just now getting them at 16 and 17 years old, we haven't sat and talked about it. She's probably good, like old enough to have one now, but there's just, it's like you choose to open that floodgate, and then it's open, and it's open for that
Correct.
kid, and it's open for every kid after that. And what we realized we had to do was, my son had a cell phone as young as 11 years old, and it wasn't connected or anything. He just had access to one. And we realized even then that this fundamentally changed the way that he interacted with the world. And so we went back to our 10-year-old and we said, no, man, no phone till you're 14. To our 9-year-old, no phone till you're 14. No social media till you're 17 or 18. You can have social
Yeah.
media once you're an adult and you can make that decision.
And
But
it spills over into adulthood regardless of how they're brought up, really. We talked about this recently, the awkwardness of going to eat with coworkers in
yeah,
particular. And for years and years, even if I'm close, or even if it's a newer job and I don't know them, whatever, everybody by default sitting at the table pulls out their phones, and they're on their phones, at least at the beginning, usually throughout. And it is a pacifier. It is a social
hmm,
anxiety pacifier. And people may not even realize they're doing it, but it's easier to just do this than to put it down and to figure out what to talk about with people that you don't normally have lunch with.
100%. 100%. Heaven forbid we get to know each other, right? We create some sort of connection, um, like we would have to back in the day. It is it's unfathomable to me where we've gotten at this place. And I am intentional about, if I notice, hey, I'm doom scrolling or whatever, I'm intentional about trying to just like put it aside. But I get stuck on my phone. Everybody does it.
Mhm.
It's that little, dopamine box right in our hand. You're gonna get stuck on your phone. Um, but the more we can control that, and we can model for the younger generations that phones are a tool, not a trap. Um, then we can, I think, get back to a place of balance. Because like you said, we're not backing the train up, but we can create a place of balance. And actually, I believe it's France. Don't quote me on this. I believe it's France that has now said, no children can have social media accounts before they're 14 years old. There's a couple of counties now in Georgia who have decided that kids cannot have cell phones powered on during school hours. Um, and they've put measures in place to maximize safety and put safety onto the resource officers and the teachers so that kids do not have to have cell phones in school. And there are some schools even saying no cell phones at all. And so we're kind of getting back to that. We I think we let it happen for a while, and then we went, oh crap, now we're seeing this is having a real impact on our students, on their ability to perform, on their ability to socialize, on their ability to participate in the learning experience. We need to do something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
and it's smart that they're actually taking that research and they're doing something about it. I just plugged this in to AI that says the country you're probably thinking of is Austria. It announced a plan to ban social media use for children under 14, but a few countries have different age limits as well. Australia's rule is under 16, France is under 15, and Denmark is under 15. So Austria is the next one that's saying under 14. They announced the plan. They haven't fully spelled it out yet. I mean, it's interesting how any of these countries will try to implement this. I imagine, well, this says here, Austria said it would use technical age verification methods while trying to protect privacy. So, you know, of course, that's not watertight, but good for them if it gets away from the majority, at least, of those kids under a certain age having social media, then that I think does the trick. Because then if the majority don't have it, then their go-to in conversation when they're talking with each other is not social media specific. It's what are we doing this weekend? Or can
yeah.
you call me tonight? That type of thing like it used to be.
Yeah. I will say Facebook is a really good example. Meta in general has been working towards a more um strict age verification. Now their verification age is 13, but they are working towards because here's the thing, and this is the book talks about this. We're actually allowing children to sign a legally binding contract in the terms of conditions when they sign up for an account.
Hmm.
And children are not old enough to do that until they're 18 years old. And so there's no oversight to say, oh, well, because it's the internet, the safest place on the planet for a child to go, it's perfectly okay for them to approve a terms and conditions at
Yeah.
13 years old.
Which might be granting that company permanent rights to media that they upload or
No,
whatever.
yeah,
It could,
not might be, it is. And it's
yeah.
granting that company the right to sell their data at 13 years old. And you know, that's not appropriate in any way, shape, or form. And so I think, um, you know, the this idea that they're working on it, and hopefully, there'll be some uh, leaps in technology to do that. I think there's definitely ways to do it now with biometrics in place and things like that. I mean, uh, it seems to me like why wouldn't you just say, okay, we're going to scan your face, not save it. We're going to scan your face, and if you don't look 14, then you have to give me an email to a parent who is then going to get emailed for your account. Or your parent has to have an account, an active account, and they have to be, actively a parent. And yeah, there are
Yeah.
going to be kids who get away with this, but imagine if every account, because the other thing that's happening a lot is like secondary fake accounts.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and so imagine if every account for a child under 18 years old had to be tied to an adult's account on that social media platform.
And this is, and I'm just imagining top of my head, if I'm one of these big giant companies with this situation, it's going to have this wrestling between profitability and morality, because the more profitable method is not to do this, is to keep staying the course and taking their data and letting them sign up. And then the morality side of it is all of the research that's like we were talking about that's coming to light, and the is it the government's job? Is it the parents' job to enforce and to protect the kids? Yes, and yes, but also the company. So they're going to have to say, well, we'll take the steps to be moral and to protect the users under X number of years old, but at the same time that very notion is going to inherently reduce their profitability as it is today.
Hmm.
So having those two things and being able to marry them somehow for a long term, yep, we're doing what we can to protect the kiddos, and we're keeping our model profitable. That's got to be a tricky thing.
Yeah, yeah, I'd imagine. I don't know. I don't know what all the answers are, but I know that we've got to have some answers because we got to save our kids. I mean, there, like you said, not just kids but adults too. Now there are illnesses in the DSM. There are illnesses in or conditions now that did not exist 15 or 20 years ago that are based around the invitation or the explosion of technology into our world. And we got to do something about it because technology is fundamentally a great thing and love it, but it
Are
has
there
to
are there
be.
any that you couldn't give up,
Ooh.
or that
uh
that you would hate to lose, that you would just hate to lose, that you've really come to terms with?
like, let's talk about, like, how far back are we going technology wise
I just right now, just in general, right now.
today, like in the world we live in today.
Yeah.
um
Yeah, we'll say we don't not even modern conveniences,
oh
modern
yeah,
conveniences in general. Like, what could we not live without?
I could definitely not live without air conditioning because I live in Georgia. And you know, it's funny.
Dude.
It's funny, I didn't know this. Like, in other countries, they don't have air conditioning. Like in the UK,
Yep.
they don't have air conditioning. And even in when we lived in California, there were houses, like older houses in Laguna Beach and Huntington Beach, that didn't have air conditioning. To me, I can't even fathom them. I grew up in Texas and Georgia.
Yep.
There's no possible way you can function without AC in every facet of your life. So a
And
car.
yet they did for centuries.
Yes, I know. Well, global warming, Billy. No, for
Must be.
any vehicle that doesn't have air conditioning or house that doesn't have air conditioning, I don't think I could abide that. In fact, our last van we sold specifically because the air conditioning went out. So that's my main one that I could not live without. I think almost anything else I can make work.
I would have a hard time going without YouTube, specifically when I need to learn something.
Mm,
I think I'm 90% of everything I know. I don't know, a large percent of what I know today probably came from YouTube tutorials and YouTube videos.
yeah.
Really, a lot of it. If I don't know how to do something, that's where I go. And back when I lived in the camper van, I'm an IT guy. I'm not mechanically minded. I never even changed my own oil. And now I'm living in a vehicle. And everything I learned came from YouTube. I learned how to do those things, change my oil and do basic mechanics. I learned how to install a solar panel and all the electrics of it. I learned how to repair copper um, plumbing for the propane system, all this stuff. I don't think I could live without that. When we were kids, my one of my mom's dreams, my mother's dreams for me was by the time I was in high school to have our own Merriam-Webster encyclopedia, set of encyclopedias,
Mm,
or Britannica, whatever the brand
yeah,
was.
yeah. I know what you mean.
That was like the dream because it was so expensive, and then I wouldn't have to go to the school library for my research papers. That was a dream. If we could have our own full set of encyclopedias, imagine that. And now, even if you had that, you have to go physically look something up, and how accurate is it? How old is it? So the YouTube tutorials is a big one. And now, and I hate to admit it, but AI is so new, relatively speaking, but I'm already so hooked on all the efficiency of it. Man, let me tell you what I just tried for the first time a few days ago. Another offshoot of AI. There is a plugin I installed on ChatGPT, and this all it does is it makes an outbound phone call for you. So here is the use case scenario. I didn't use it in real life yet. I just did it as a practice to another phone that I have. But in real life, I have to call the pharmacy every Monday morning and put in a refill for my ADH medication. Every Monday morning, I can't call the day before. They won't do it in advance. I got to call the morning of. And the longer I wait, the longer it takes them to fill it. I need it filled every Monday morning. And I hate it and they hate it. I got to call 9:01 a.m., talk to a real human, and put in my refill. Well, the plugin for ChatGPT, I put the phone number of the pharmacy, I put the prompt and the context. I need this medicine. This is my name. This is my date of birth. And then I did it as a test to a separate phone number. And this female in a British accent, for some reason, voice called and said, I would like to put in a refill for so and so. And then me, pretending to be the pharmacist, asked some questions. Well, what's his date of birth? When do you need it by? Things that the AI didn't even know yet. And it just came up with it. And I said, well, it'll be ready by noon. Is that okay? And the AI said, yep, that'll work. And gave me the whole transcript back. Made a phone call for me that I hate doing.
That's incredible.
Crazy. This is
And
like
you
having
didn't
a
try it?
personal secretary. No, not yet. Not for the pharmacy anyways. But, um, I don't think I could already go back as to some of these things that AI is really helping me in my day job, being more efficient, proofreading for me, giving me "Hey, is this tone good before I send this message to a friend on a touchy subject," whatever. It's already got my hook, hooked me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I'd have a hard time going back. I think I could because I'm just not as inundated with it yet. I see all of the vision for it. I've actually almost got my Google AI professional certificate. Thank you very much. I have a couple more
Nice.
tests to take. But like, yeah, I would say that's a close second for me because it does save a lot of time. And now I'm really interested in this plugin of yours because I have to do the same
Dude,
thing once a month is
yes.
call the doctor to get them to send in my prescription to the pharmacy, and it's
Yep.
always just leaving a message, so that would be ideal.
Yep. All right. Last thing, and then we'll wrap it up. This is, as promised, our rapid fire activity for the episode. And so this is, what modern thing do people call toxic that you secretly love? So we're going to be vulnerable here and open and honest. What modern thing do people call toxic that you secretly love? You can't think it through. You got to answer honestly and immediately. And we will fly through these and then we'll wrap it up. Um, Doom scrolling, Joe. What about doom scrolling?
I don't love it. It actually makes me hate myself when I do it. So,
Agreed. Me
yeah,
too.
I don't think I secretly love it. I feel bad that I do it, in fact.
Yep, same. Canceling plans.
I hardly ever make plans, so I never cancel them.
This is toxic and I hate it. I hate myself when I do it because I have developed a reputation over the years at the last minute for canceling, and I'm trying to do better. Sorry, friends, in real life. Gossip. What about gossip?
I always think that I don't struggle with this, but I bet I do.
Yeah,
I do love the tea, man, as the kids
me
are
too.
saying. I love some spilt tea. So, yeah, yeah, that's one for me that I do secretly like and enjoy.
I hate that I like it
I
sometimes
know.
because it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, good, juicy, juicy,
That's one
juicy.
that I will actually say, like, I enjoy hearing it, you know what I mean? Even, like, I'm so nosy too, like, if I walk in on a conversation between my wife and my daughter, I'm like, "Ooh, what are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
Right, right.
What's that? Who said that?" You know? So, yeah, for sure.
What about watching public meltdowns?
I didn't know this was toxic. That's probably true, but I love it. I
Yep.
enjoy it. I enjoy it so much, and I watch it all the time. It's one of my favorite things.
This is not even a secret thing for me.
Yeah.
That's my number thing I watch on YouTube is I watch people that have meltdowns on a traffic stop because they
Oh,
ran
I
a red
love it.
light, and
I
now they're
love it.
next thing you know, they're getting pulled out of the car and thrown in handcuffs because they went berserk.
I love that.
What about looking somebody up before meeting them?
Is that toxic?
I feel like that might be responsible depending on the context. Like if it's a date or I don't know.
A job interview, like, I don't know,
Yeah, be
or
prepared.
a sales pitch. I feel like I stalk some people online frequently. I didn't know that was toxic, but I do that. Yeah.
What about blocking somebody without explaining, aka ghosting?
Uh Hmm. Do you do that? I mean, I
I
only do
don't.
that for
I
people I don't
don't.
know.
I
I wouldn't
don't.
ghost somebody I didn't know,
No, I don't do this,
or
but
I
it
did
has been
somebody I
done to
knew.
me in the
Yeah.
last couple of years
Well,
multiple times, and I hate it. Tell me Tell me why, or don't even tell me why, just tell me you're doing it on purpose so I don't have to worry about why'd you disappeared.
yeah, like, did you die and or did you change
Yeah.
your number? Like, just tell me, "Hey, I don't wanna talk to you anymore," and that's fine.
What about ignoring unexpected phone calls?
That's toxic too. I do that a
I don't
lot.
know if it is or not, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm good with
fine with
that
it
one. Yeah, I have no have I ignore people all the time.
all the time. Because I've had this theory for a long time and I stand by it. The phone is there for my convenience, not yours. I pay my phone
Mm,
bill. I pay for my phone. It's my convenience. I'll answer it when I want to.
I
And
like
if I
that.
go to sleep, I put it on do not disturb. If the world falls apart, if somebody dies, I'll figure it out when I wake up.
Mm.
That's me, and it has been for a long time. Uh, how about using AI for something you could do yourself?
I mean, I think that's the point of AI. If you're using it for things you can't do, then it's like if I can't write and I'm using it to write a book, I don't know, that's a little shady. But if I can write and I'm using it to edit my book for content or grammar
Yeah.
mistakes, yeah.
Well, and that becomes kind of a gray area. I had a Uber passenger earlier today, and she said that her boyfriend started using AI to write her kind of like love letters or love notes, and that she wouldn't recognize it. And she said, "Never do that. I'd rather it be from you and from your heart, even if it's got grammar mistakes, even if it sounds, you know, whatever. I want it from you. I don't want you to use AI to proofread it or to write it or to modify it." And that makes sense too.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
think
at what point does it go from a tool that makes it that kind of sharpens it and tunes it to doing it for me?
yeah. Well, I have used AI. I think my wife has probably used it too, honestly. Like we've used AI to speak back and forth sometimes, just if we're having a tussle or whatever. And honestly, it really does help, man.
It's
It
like
helps
having a
because
mediator.
yeah, because you can say whatever you want to the AI, and then you can paste their response in, and then the AI will go, "Yeah, but you're being a little stupid." And you're like, "Oh, you're probably right," you know? That's not what she's looking for right now. What she's looking for is and then it'll tell you, "Oh, okay." So, yeah, I'm good with it.
This one's more for me. Ordering delivery from somewhere within walking distance. I do it a lot.
There is nothing within walking distance, so I don't
Right.
have this problem. If I order delivery, it's because I don't wanna get in the car and drive somewhere.
Yes, this is me 100%. I do this way too much. So what supposedly toxic habit will you absolutely not be working on?
Probably, one you didn't mention that I think,
Hmm.
no, I'm gonna work on that one, I won't say that one. Um, I would have to say I'm definitely not gonna be working on looking people up before I meet with them. That
Yep.
that's just what I'm gonna do, it's how I do.
It's okay to be a little nosy,
I
a little
know.
snoopy here and
Apparently,
there.
I'm not gonna be working on gossip either.
Yeah, this is not a specific one, but in general, I always want to be working on being present in the moment because I already have a short attention span. Whether I'm texting on the phone, in a Zoom, recording a podcast, I want to be present in the moment and dialed in. And yet, there are so many tools that help me be a better version of me. I think um, if I can figure out the balance is the key of using those as tools to enhance and fine tune rather than take over and replace. That's the whole thing for me is finding the balance, and I'm okay with using those tools as
I
long as
love
they
it.
don't take over.
I need your
Yep.
phone tool, to call for my medication refills too.
Yeah,
We
we
should
can
just make an app
practice.
that does that. That'd be amazing.
Yep. There's so many things out there that are connecting with AI as plugins or whatever they call them now. So
Okay. All right. So, last question. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to land this plane. If you could permanently delete one modern technology from the world, what would it be?
you first. You first. This is a hard one. This is a
Oh.
hard one. Because all of them I can think, well, I would mostly delete it, but entirely delete it?
Uh, I don't. I don't. I don't even know what I would say to this.
So since it's just hypothetical, I'll just give you my weird hypothetical answer. I wish that in general, like social media and maybe even to some degree text messaging was only permittable or allowable or worked in a certain window each day for the whole entire universe, the whole world. And so you could
Mm.
as a nation or whatever, you had your 3-hour window and everybody could be on it talking to each other, and then after that, it was done, and outside of maybe immediate family for text messaging or something, it would go back to a place where we have in person, we have face to face, or even on the phone is fine, and get away from all the other stuff. So you can still have it, but it's kind of like, and I would not vote for a government to be able to do this. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying in theory, I would delete all the other hours of the day. Can't deal with it. Don't worry about it. You've got your window where it works. Other than that, we're back to having one-on-one relationships with each other, like they did for centuries.
I mean, I love it. I love that idea because I'm not good at texting anyway. I'm only good for texting within a certain number of hours anyway, and then I just get really bad at it. Okay. So for me, oh man, I'm going to say this. I'm going to get in trouble. I would I would say that we could delete the wholly electric engine completely. So just not now. Listen, I'm not saying hybrids, plug-in hybrids, anything that uses
The
dual
actual
fuels.
electric engine in a
I'm
car.
saying electric only vehicles.
Okay.
I'd be fine with deleting from the world because I think the push towards electric only vehicles has gone too fast and we haven't solved for enough of the issues like, how long batteries last and the you
The
know
raw materials.
raw material the lithium is just as much a non-renewable resource as anything else, right? So from my perspective, I think we push too fast for electric vehicles and we are playing catch up on how to actually make that sustainable. Whereas if we had said, hey, let's just really wrench down on the hybrid drivetrain, let's really wrench down on fuel cells that maybe aren't fossil fuel cells, I think we could have gotten, like if we had focused on really modernizing the natural gas engine so that it could get further on less, right? Improve the gas miles per gallon on that. Or if we really focused on the hybrid models, or if we really focused on hydrogen, like there's some really interesting possibilities if we had focused more on using actual fuels instead of, hey, we're going to take electricity, which is created by burning fuels into a grid and then put into your car. We're gonna hold off on that and really focus on dual fuel items. I think we'd be in a better position globally as far as environmental. So I could live without Tesla
Yep.
100%.
And now listen to this. For people who are so gung ho on electric only cars, and hey, have at it. How do you charge those cars? Well, I plug it in at my house. Where does that electricity come from? Let us tell you. In 2025 in the United States, natural gas, 41% of electricity, coal, 17% of electricity. Okay. So combined, the majority, I would even say vast majority, 41 for natural gas, 17% coal. You're burning fossil fuels anyways to
Yeah,
charge your electric car. Nuclear was 17%. And then finally, wind and solar combined is 18%. Only 18%, less than a fifth of electricity comes from wind and solar combined. And then hydropower was the last little tiny bit. So we're still, the vast majority is natural gas and then coal to charge those
yeah.
electric cars.
Yeah, and
So
that's the way it is across the board, all over the world. In Georgia, for example, I know this number because I looked it up. It's like 2.3 to 2.5% of our energy is produced by water, hydroelectric, and then maybe uh, under 10% is produced by other alternatives, and then largely coal, nuclear, and natural gas is how we
yeah,
produce our
the
energy
future
here.
is nuclear. They're going to have to, make it better and safer and all those
You
things. But
know,
that's the future.
this will be for the next one. If anybody knows about this out there in the interwebs, Harvard is doing a study on repurposing used whatever nuclear rods are made of into household size batteries. So
How about
basically,
that?
imagine a AA battery that could kill you but never go bad. As long as it didn't
Hey.
explode or get broken open, it would literally never run out.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be one of the things AI is going to help us with is figuring out some of these conundrums as a
Mhm.
people, and it's going to result, unless something catastrophic happens, God forbid, worldwide, it's going to result in an age, in a season, in a time of incredible prosperity as we are able to figure out and solve some of these big issues. We're going to have so much prosperity in the coming years and decades for sure. So
Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
we're gonna ask you guys, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening and watching. What was supposed to make life easier for you but somehow made it worse? What was supposed to make life easier but somehow made it worse? Let us know in the comments wherever you're watching or listening. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and other places. We would love to hear from you. When we do get a nice comment, because we're still really small, uh, whoever finds it, we send it to the other one. I send it to Joe or vice versa. And we love it, and it cheers us up and makes us have a great day. So uh, if you have something mean to say, that's okay too. But if you have something encouraging, we'd love to hear it, or whatever your thoughts are. Let us know.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.
So long.
Open minds, roll the show. Billy and Joe with a flavor flow.